Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today in sight of millions of TikTokers to join together this beautiful woman, Jazz, and her fiance, Kevin, in all of these sponsorships in holy matrimony. That's right. These days, influencer weddings are not just about the marriage anymore. They're most likely brand deals. I remember the days when weddings used to be very personal and very intimate. But nowadays, if you are a huge influencer, you're expected to have a huge blowout production-based wedding. It's not about the wedding or the marriage anymore. It's about content. It's about how much you can monetize off of your big day. While that is all fine and dandy, yes, we should have a good, beautiful day to kind of showcase your wedding day. It's actually a little bit less glamorous most of the time than you would think. There's a lot happening behind the scenes that we don't know. It's sponsored posts, it's brand deals, it's the expectation to perform, and of course, the biggest thing of all, it's about staying relevant to your audience and the people that are watching. And in this video, I'm going to break down to you how weddings are not just about the celebration, the marriage, the families gathering, the friends celebrating, having a good time. It's become a huge business for many. We all know that the wedding industry is very expensive. And traditionally, if you're wealthy, you just kind of have to pay for it yourself. So it's really not a big deal if you have a huge, explosive, big wedding. For example, Sophia Richie Grange, who is the daughter of the iconic Lionel Richie, just got married a couple of years ago. So she had a huge wedding and she most likely paid for it all herself. Her wedding was in France and it was beautiful. Her dress was beautiful. It was breathtaking. So for Sophia's wedding, she probably did not need any sponsorships to help her with her wedding. She did not need views. She did not need the content. She didn't need anything like that. And also back then, weddings used to be paid for by the family of the bride. But nowadays, the economy is so bad, nobody can afford to pay for weddings for their children anymore. So what happens if you're an influencer with millions of followers? Instead of relying on your family or old money, you rely on views, content, and brand deals to pay for it. The more followers you have, the more exposure you can give to these brands, and that turns your wedding into a business. So to kind of break down how this works, the moment a huge influencer announces their engagement, boom, all the brands start kind of popping up and emailing you, and sometimes they leave very, very obvious messages in your comments. We have designers, we have makeup artists, we have florists, we have all these people that really kind of want to bank into your wedding. The biggest influencer weddings we've had in the past are people like Michaela Noriega, who has 16 million followers on Instagram and TikTok. She had her wedding sponsored by many, many people. And then next you have somebody like Tiny the chef, who is a chef who got married and she also had her wedding most likely sponsored. The most recent one is Jazz, who I brought up at the beginning of this video, and she also had her wedding sponsored by brands. Now, I don't know if this next take is true for Jazz here, but sometimes you can even have your wedding comped, as in completely paid for by brands. And all you have to do is literally just shout them out in a video and an ad or something. And at the end of the day, all these big brands really want is just exposure. They just want an audience. They want to be able to showcase their product in front of these people and their followers. A lot of the times, the influencers are pretty transparent about the fact that these brands paid them to say these things at their wedding, which is something I really appreciate. So for instance, here you have Jazz, who got sponsored by L'Oreal to do her skincare for her wedding day. And then she used Lyft to drive her around in between things in preparedness for her wedding. And then she also used Zola to do her wedding invitations. All of these brands kind of work in their own way when it comes to an influencer's wedding specifically. According to the Knot, average weddings cost about $30,000. But if you're a huge influencer, your wedding might cost somewhere between $150K, $200K, sometimes $500K. So right now we're going to break down how much Jazz's wedding really cost. I've been talking about Jazz a lot this entire video, but to kind of give you a brief background on her, she has over 500K followers on TikTok, and 100K of those followers she actually gained during her wedding weekend because her wedding got a lot of exposure, and I will let you know why in a few minutes. She married her longtime boyfriend, Kevin, in a very extravagant wedding in upstate New York. And it was honestly one of the most romantic weddings I've seen in a really long time. Thankfully, Jazz tagged a lot of the people that she worked with for her wedding. So we were actually able to kind of estimate how much her wedding costs. To start off, the wedding took place in Ohika Castle, and something you have to know about that space, besides the fact that it's actually pretty sought after, it's that Taylor Swift shot her music video for Blank Space there. According to Reddit, this venue alone costs between $50,000 to $100,000 plus just to hold a wedding there. It actually all depends on the package that you want and the day of the week, or even if you want a whole weekend. But a lot of your budget will go to this venue. So let's move on to Jazz's dress, one of the more important things on a wedding day. And just like any bride, she changed into 3 different dresses for her big day. The first thing is the wedding ceremony dress, and this dress is beautiful. Look how it is on her. I love it. I love how silky it looks. I love how rich and like sexy it looks on her. She looks really, really good in this dress. But our girl here did not tag the designer for this dress. I had to do a little research in order to actually find the designer of this dress because she didn't tag them. I think I know why she did not tag them, and it's because they probably did not want to sponsor her. Because again, the thing is that the only way she will shout you out on her platform is if you pay for her dress or give her some sort of discount or anything. But I think this brand in particular did not sponsor her. This dress is from Provianas, and according to the website, it costs about $4,400. Let's move on into the reception/dance dress. She also did not tag this brand, so I had to do more research in order to find a dress that kind of looks like it. So I hope this is it. So this dress itself costs $4,700. And so far she did not get her wedding dress paid for, and she did not get her reception dress paid for. So those are the 2 things that we know for sure she probably paid for. The last dress of the day was the after party dress, and this dress was tagged, and it is by a brand called Undone. And it's beautiful. It's a very dancey, very like let's get down kind of dress. And this dress, according to The Knot and a few other websites, it cost $5,500. So for her hair, she had a celebrity stylist who's actually a big deal. His name is Kendall Dorsey, and he's estimated to cost between $200 and $3,000 for the day. For her makeup, the consultation alone was $399. If we're gonna take a guess, her makeup was probably between $150 and $500. And Jazz had a huge event planner for this wedding, and they costed about $5,000. And another huge budget that went into this wedding are the flowers. The flowers were super important. And as you can see here, these flowers are beautiful, and the flower designers did such a good job. This flower designer was estimated to cost about $100,000. She also had a creative team at this wedding. She had, of course, a videographer and a photographer. And on top of that, she had a content creator. That's right. She had a content creator at her wedding. I will get back to them in a second, but her videographer was about $6,500. And her photographer was about $15,000. Now, as far as the content creation stuff goes, this is a relatively new type of person in a wedding. I have never heard of it before Jazz's wedding, but I think it is a good idea to have a content creator at your wedding. The need for these types of wedding content creators is just so they can capture all the footage in the moment and like literally post it as your wedding is happening. And that is going to be very relevant very soon as we talk more about Jazz's wedding. For the content creation team, it is estimated to cost between $1,000 and $3,000. If you have been doing any sort of math this whole time, you will know that the estimated cost of Jazz's wedding is close to $300,000. Whew, that is a lot of money for a wedding. That is somebody's mortgage, guys. That is somebody's mortgage. None of that cost included guest accommodations or her honeymoon. So that was just the wedding itself. And spending that much, I cannot imagine. Here's something else to think about when it comes to these types of weddings. A lot of the times, should influencers pay for these weddings, they can get a tax write-off. I'm not saying that Jazz did this in this case because I do not know that, but they can get a tax write-off. And this lady explains it really, really well.
I'm Mrs. Dow Jones, a millennial finance expert, and here's what no one is talking about. That $300K wedding, yeah, it was also a tax write-off. This wasn't just a party for Jazz, it was a business move. Let me break it down. She partnered with brands, she featured sponsored products, and she even launched a $5 a month Patreon for behind the scenes access. Because the wedding directly supported her business as a creator, many of the costs could legally be written off. Photography and videography, easily $50K. Designer wardrobe, glam team, $30K easy. Event production, styling and decor, another $40K. And the venue was likely around $100K, partial write-off. Add in miscellaneous content costs, and you're looking at a potential write-off of $180 to $210K. And with Jazz in a high tax bracket, that could mean saving over $70,000 in taxes just by treating her wedding like a business. Jazz Smith didn't just say, I do, she said, I deduct.
Another thing that we have to remember is that Jazz probably did not pay for most of this wedding. Things that we can probably assume is that she did pay for her wedding dresses. But for the most part, she probably didn't pay for most of this, which is really, really good for her. If you like what you're seeing so far, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. It's fun. We have fun around here, okay? We talk about influencers and what they're up to and what they're gonna do, and it's really, really fun, I promise. Join the Girly Pop crew today by subscribing. Let's talk about the production of these weddings, right? Because these are huge productions. They're not just like little bit of a wedding in the backyard of your house. No, these are huge productions, and everything, of course, is planned to a T. Everything is planned for maximum engagement, just to get as much views and content, as many sounds and trending stuff as much as possible to make this whole thing happen. And a lot of these weddings don't even feel like weddings to me sometimes. It just feels like a huge Hollywood production because you have the cinematic views of the castle, you have the glamorous dresses, you have these beautiful flowers. Everything just feels so overdone and over the top. And this type of wedding is from a small-ish content creator on TikTok. It kind of tells you how crazy it is that these people can have weddings like this. Even though we know they're not necessarily paying for all of it, it still is pretty glamorous, and it still is pretty cool. And as I mentioned earlier, because Jazz was able to make this whole thing a huge production, she gained over 100,000 followers over that weekend alone for her content. So this is why I keep saying that it is a good thing to be an influencer and get married. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but when it comes to content creation, the things that get a lot of views are huge life-changing milestones in your life. So whether you're buying a house, whether you're having a baby, all those things get a lot of views and a lot of like sponsorships again coming to you to work with you. And of course, weddings are the same thing. As I mentioned earlier, Jazz's wedding wasn't just a wedding. It was literally in the moment. She brought us along to every single moment of her wedding day. One of the reasons why her wedding went super mega viral is because of this exact reason. She went through her entire day and posted over 25 videos so she can show us what is happening minute by minute, up to the point where she walked down the aisle to get married. Back then, you would just have your wedding day and then post little videos here and there and photos of your wedding and things like that, and just to show off a couple of days later. But for Jazz, she did it as she was getting married, and everybody was a part of that. But you might be wondering, how did she do this? How was she able to make this wedding happen basically in real time for her entire followers to see? She does a really good job at explaining it herself.
Obviously, I posted in real time my entire wedding yesterday, but I wanted to tell you guys how I did it and how I was able to stay present while doing all of that. Hallie and I share an assistant, and she was at the wedding, and a few weeks ago, we made the spreadsheet with all the random videos I've saved in like a wedding folder on TikTok that I wanted to possibly do. They're all broken down by what dress I'm in, when I'm filming them, what I need to do, and her job the entire day was making sure these videos were done. On TikTok, when you film something, you can film the entire thing and then just replace the clips. So it took me maybe 60 seconds for each video, like probably less. Every TikTok is linked, so I could easily just open it. And she had my other phone that was also logged into my TikTok account. Like all the videos that I was reposting, she was actually reposting them for me. I reposted a few, but like she was mostly doing that. I genuinely felt like I needed to do this because I have the lifestyle that I have and I have the wedding that I had because of the fact that this is my job and that you guys care. So obviously I would never let anyone actually come to the wedding, like that's just like too far, but it makes sense for you guys to virtually be there because you genuinely did help pay for it. I didn't make money off of any of the videos I posted because you only get paid on videos that are over a minute long. This was just fun for me. And even if I wasn't a creator, I think I would still be making like fun videos with my friends, like getting ready for my wedding. It did not take away from my day at all. I was completely present. Like obviously creating content is my job. So I like to think that I'm pretty good at it and pretty fast. So like I'm telling you all the videos that I did with posting and everything, maybe a max of 20 minutes of my day. You might not believe me, but I'm telling you, it didn't take a lot of time.
Honestly, that sounds super stressful to me, but you know what? You got to do what you got to do. But I'm happy to hear that she was really much present in her wedding because she planned everything ahead of time. Watching this wedding to me felt like I was watching a reality TV show. I was like, is this Hulu doing like a Kardashian wedding? Like what is happening? But I loved it. I loved watching this happen. Next, we're going to talk about the wedding guests. And this is actually really, really important. And this all kind of ties back to the whole business aspect of weddings. And this is why. If you are going to be a part of a huge wedding like this and you got invited by a huge influencer to attend the wedding, you would have to go because the who's who of influencers are all there. For example, in the real world, take Jeff Bezos' wedding for a second. He got married to his wife in Italy and everybody that is a celebrity was there. All the big time celebrities were there. The who's who was there. And you want to be in those rooms when these people are getting married so you can get all the connections, get all the deals, get all that stuff, right? It's the same thing with influencer weddings. All the who's who of influencers were invited to this wedding and they were all there. You know why they were all there? Exposure, of course. If you're at this influencer wedding and you get tagged in a photo or a video of them and they talk about you in a video or a photo, exposure. Exposure, follower numbers go up, brand deals start coming in and things like that. So it is very important if you are invited to influencer weddings like this, you have to go because you need that for your business. And it is a very important but subtle marketing strategy. To look on the other side of it, if all the big influencers are there that might not even know about Jazz and Jazz gets tagged in videos and stuff like that, Jazz also gets a little bit of relevance and a little bit of exposure from all those other wedding guests that were at her wedding. So it's all this loop-de-loop of business transactions and marketing strategies and content and views. It all ties together. Are influencers' weddings even real at this point? If they're having all these huge productions, if they're getting all these brand deals just to have a wedding, is it even real? Is it even fake? No, this is not a Jake Paul situation where they got fake married. I believe a lot of these influencers who get married, of course, married for real, they all seem genuine in love. Jazz and Kevin here seem really in love with each other. They are a really cute couple. And Jazz just wanted to show off her man and get married, which is a very big deal because weddings are a big deal. At the same time, this was a business for her. This was a marketing strategy for her. It doesn't mean she's a bad person. It doesn't mean they're not in love. It doesn't mean they don't want to do it. It just means that they really wanted to capitalize and monetize off of this wedding. Now, there are influencers out there who have weddings without having the big hoopla, without having brand deals, without showing off anything, without asking people to pay for it. And one of the good examples of this is Jackie Aina. Jackie Aina recently got married, and the only reason that we know she got married was because she changed her last name on all of her socials. That's the only way we know that she got married. She probably had a huge wedding, but she did not talk about it. There are influencers out there at the level of Jackie and at the level of Jazz that will have a very private wedding for themselves. And I really appreciate that too. So something that Jazz did that I thought was really, really sweet was that she did a lot of giveaways about her wedding and she wanted to give back to other brides too. And I thought that was really sweet. She ended up giving away stuff that she didn't use during her wedding, maybe like gifts that she got from other brands that she didn't want to use, and she ended up giving those away. She wanted to give somebody an engagement ring that she was going to use because she was sponsored by an engagement ring company. She ended up giving away a lot of the money that she made from her TikTok creator fund to one of her fans. And I think that was so sweet because it's a way of her giving back. It's a way of saying that thank you for, being on this journey with me, and thank you so much for helping me pay for my wedding. And I thought that was really sweet. thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video on influencers and their wedding. If you like videos like this about influencers, things like that, please feel free to like and subscribe and share this video. If you want to support me in any way, shape, or form, please read the description box and there are ways for you to help me. And I will get back to you with more videos like this.